I was invited to Rare Studios to test the Season 20 headline feature, Custom Seas, and more importantly, give crucial feedback for the development of this feature set. As it stands, from what I got to play with, Custom Seas won't resonate with everyone. Yet. But I just want to clarify, everything I say in this video is subject to change. Though this is a recounting of my experience at Rare Studios, from conversations I had with devs, along with my own thoughts, and a hands-on playtest there's still a bit of development time left for Custom Seas before it hits retail, so I can't know for sure what the feature will look like on launch. And also, this isn't an ad. I wasn't paid to visit Rare, though they did pay for my travel and accommodation. I'm not obligated to glaze Rare or Custom Seas for this trip, or because I'm a partner. Custom Seas has the potential to be a complete game changer for both the player base, as well as content creation for Sea of Thieves. We know this, but where the development of this feature set stands right now, we're kind of far away from that moment happening. You see, it's in more of a foundational level right now. The base for Custom Seas is great, but it's not going to land with the average player as it stands, though it will absolutely unlock doors for things to do on launch. And that's what this trip to Rare was all about, because sure, it's one thing for content creators like myself to have access to these tools that will help us with our videos and community events, but these tools also need to land with the average player too. And boy, there's quite a few obviously needed functions missing, some granular and some absolutely necessary for the future of this mode. But the two biggest things missing are linked to each other. Firstly, on launch, there will not be a way to save the state of your custom seas. For instance, as a simple example, this means you won't be able to save the state of 2 ships at the Sea Dog's Tavern with custom set supplies ready to play a fake arena mode. You have to move the ships there every time you launch custom seas, set the supplies, and so on. And this feeds into the second feature missing, a custom game mode's lobby. Because yeah, without a way to save the states of your custom seas, there won't really be much of a way to launch into a custom game without doing any setup. And this is what everyone thinks needs to happen. Not just me, not just the other creators and players that were invited to Rare, but the developers themselves too. There was a universal consensus that these things need to happen for the future of custom seas, and they need to happen quickly. We know it, you know it, and Mike Chapman knows it. I pestered him about this for like 10 minutes while I was there. And this brings me to my next point. During my time at Rare, there was an emphasis stressed multiple times that custom seas won't be a one and done feature set, and will be something that is constantly being developed on. That's not to say custom seas is replacing the development of high seas adventure, as that will always be the main game mode to play Sea of Thieves, as stated by Mike Chapman. Think of it more as custom seas as an and, not an or. I understand that this is tough to believe though, given some of the previous updates to this game that have been left to rot for years, like guilds. But if we look at Season 19 and the massive improvements to Hourglass, and well, the fact that Rare knows custom seas needs to be supported properly, let's take them in good faith on this. I don't think Rare would bring a bunch of people to their studio, pay for their travel and accommodation if they didn't believe in the future of this game. That to me shows an investment in the game's players and community. However, this does lead into the problem with Season 20, in that Season 20's new content will only be custom seas. And there's good reason for it. If we take a look back at the last Community Direct, Rare stated that they were unhappy with the 3-act structure the last seasons followed, leading to lackluster updates and half-baked, unfinished ideas. And although some of these updates were in my opinion fun, I can respect the sentiment. Changing this cadence of updates for the main game means taking a step back and reevaluating, and that's where we currently are, and why some people feel like things are looking a little bleak for the future of this game. But if you want more meaningful updates, it means allowing the devs a longer development timeline for their updates. You can't have monthly updates and meaningful updates at the same time. It's clearly not possible. Custom Seas was always meant to launch alongside a 3-act structure for adventure high seas content, similar to Season 17 and 18, and this obviously has changed. We can see that with the fact that a lot of content got scrapped for Season 19, and although I personally stand by the idea that custom seas could be a headline feature worthy of a season dedicated to it, without the two things I previously mentioned, the custom seas save states and a browsable game list of preset lobbies, well, as I said, I don't think this will land with the average player on launch. But it's funny, the moment you make something happen on custom seas, something you'd never be able to do in the main game, it sort of clicks. Yes, where we're at right now is a foundational level of tools, but with the right updates to this mode, it will absolutely shine. You see, one of the things we were tasked to do at Rare was come up with our own game modes, and we saw some iterations on Skull Ball, Fleet Battles, and a 20-man TDM on Tribute Peak featuring a golden chicken. But something one of the devs said about Custom Seas stuck with me. He described the mode like this. Imagine there's a game master, or a DM, that changes the world, spawns enemies, changes the weather, and all sorts of things during an event. You could almost imagine a sort of roleplay adventure within Sea of Thieves with these mechanics. And that's when it clicked for me in my proposed game mode. You see, I wanted to toy around with the classic Galleon v Galleon battle, but with a twist. Because the tools for these types of events are out of this world. First of all, I wanted to increase the crew size of each galleon to 8 players per ship, as they'd need those additional numbers for what I was about to do to them. Because not only can we spam spawn in way more megalodons than I ever thought this game could handle, but it turns out you can spawn every land-based PvE threat onto a ship too. And wow, let's see what that's happening in the bilge. I love this because, like, it's just stopped everyone fighting. I wanted to create an event that took the idea of being red mid-fight and turn it up to 11 bajillion, at the cost of everyone's sanity, especially Halo's. But it's here we ran into some minor issues. Again, granular in nature, but these are things that took some finagling to work out, and I'm not sure the average player will want to spend that time fighting the system. For instance, spawning a Megalodon, Kraken, or Skelly ship will spawn those creatures to aggro onto the ship the player that spawns them is assigned to, and the server host needs to be assigned to a ship, just like everyone else. This caused the first iteration of the event to, well, have no sea-based threat, as my ship wasn't in the vicinity, which wasn't ideal. So to remedy this, I assigned myself to one of the galleons, and this created a new issue. Yeah, the sea-based threats will now only aggro to the ship I was assigned to, and this meant I now needed another workaround. Fortunately, Status Hidden was available to help resolve this. By assigning him onto the other galleon, we could spawn Megs and Skelly ships at the same time that would now aggro both ships, which is exactly what I wanted. But it shouldn't have been this complicated to begin with, and that's what I mean about the granular issues with Custom Seas. Because yes, the foundation is truly amazing, but I can see these types of problems causing the casual player base to just give up on using the mode entirely. Which is why, and I know I keep repeating myself, we need those preset lobbies. Without them, Season 20 will look like a filler season for a bunch of people in the player base. And it's a shame, because I really do believe in what Custom Seas will bring to the table for both the game as well as content creation. We can already see some of the doors being kicked down for interesting things to do, new forms of content to make, and really fun events. Fellow content creator Tato Tunes has been running a bunch of Custom Seas events on Insiders, and you can see the absolute joy a lot of the players are having with them. And that right there is the golden ticket to longevity for this game. But look, I know the state of the game is rocky right now, and I understand how a lot of you are feeling. If it wasn't for the lackluster content from Season 17, to the cut content of Season 20, to the currently missing features Custom Seeds needs to truly shine, it can feel like it's all despair. But I promise you, Rare cares about their game. Seeing the faces of the people that work on the game, people that never even appear on camera, seeing the passion and dedication these developers have for this game in person, it's clear as day to me how much they want Sea of Thieves to thrive. Let's give them the grace they need to get this game back on track.